9, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What do you got to eat? Here, guys. What's this say? I don't know. What's that say? I know, but I'm not gonna tell. I think it says it's good.
Conjecture Hoops contains all the presumptions, assumptions, and off-the-wall postulations a growing kid needs. Conjecture Hoops, a big bowl of bullshit. Saturday morning cartoons,
Now at night time.
mostly conjecture based on little knowledge.
Please welcome Max Headshrew, Dell, Aria Blackness, and your most gracious host, Ben Motherfucking Jackson. Applause. Applause. Applause.
Applause, 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 applause.
Oh!
So here's an SMC first, I think. Rob and Ben and nobody else.
It's the Rob and Ben show. Da 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 da. Boink.
Wait, have we had this dynamic before where it was just the two of us?
I don't think so.
I don't think
God,
so.
I'm so excited. I'm always, I've got my microphone here.
I think there was one time with Aria.
Maybe, yeah.
So okay, you guys, I swear it wasn't even my fault this time. Okay. The conspiracy of the universe to make me late to my own fucking podcast is extraordinary. We don't have time to get into it. All of the strange happenstances and curses that befell me on my way here. But forgive me, 20 minutes. I swear, everyone thinks like, well, we should just start the podcast a half hour later. No, this is the right time. It's just weird shit going on in my life, fucking up my timing. But this is the right time, and we'll be here next week early. So watch out. So
you say we don't have enough time to go into it. Like, what the hell happened, poor guy?
Bro, I've been through some fucking bullshit today, dude. Because I was gonna ride my bike. I was gonna ride my bike to the dojo since you asked. Because Saturdays, fucking, go work out, do some jujitsu, and then ride my bike back. But then today, my roommate was like, "No, I'll drive." So I was like, all right, cool. So he drove us, and then I was like, this is going to be great. He's going to drive us back. It's going to be faster. We're going to get there. But then, he's puttering around, wasting time. And eventually I'm just like, yo, dude, I got to go. What's going on? And he's like, don't you see we're waiting for this kid? Because there was this kid whose mom never came to pick them up. So he was staying after longer than normal because of the situation. Anyways. Long story short, here I am 20 minutes late.
Oh, no problemo. Okay, so we've got some absences tonight. Aria said he's probably not going to be able to make it. And Max as well. So, oh no, it's just you and me.
But
right.
Well, where's Buddha though?
I know, eh?
Nothing's stopping Buddha, and he's meant to. He's supposed to present his homework today.
I know, eh? What the heck? I mean, luckily, I do have a bit of extra homework. Did you explain everything you wanted to explain last week? Who that there? Oh, that's brilliant. Hey, Buddha, take that box
What's that?
right at the back and put a big pair of googly eyes on it. Turn around. Can you? Oh, he's not. He can't bloody hear me, can he? Right, turn around. Buddha, turn around.
Turn around.
Yeah. See that box?
Every
See that
now
box
and then
in the
I feel
background?
a little
We
bit
want a
late
big
to
pair of
my
googly
own
eyes on the
show.
top box.
Turn around.
I'm
Any
sure I
German,
can-
blah, la, la, la. I don't know the bloody text. I just know the rhythm. And turn around, bright eyes. Every now and then I fall apart.
I'm not sure that's the same song.
This is what I was looking for. Yeah, let's see
I don't
what
even
kind of
think
goog-
that's the same song.
Turn around, bright eyes.
So
Every now and then I fall apart.
And I
fucking
need you
now
more than
tonight.
ever.
Shit.
Did you just put the marker
we-
through the box? Yeah, we're
Yeah.
live. But that's okay, because
Well-
I think we've got some dead space to fill with you, like, you know,
all right,
putting
Buddha,
googly eyes on a.
Buddha, show us
Yeah,
what
yeah.
you got. Show us what you got.
Oh, careful there, he'll take his top off.
What the googly eyes? All right. Here we go.
I mean, what is your favorite Batman graphic novel?
I've opted for Batman Year One by Frank Miller.
So what
I'm a
happens when he
sucker for-
graduates?
It becomes a badass. Is what happens.
Did you guys? Did
Imagine
you?
him at his graduation?
Did you catch
With a
that? Buddha
mortarboard.
Buddha was holding it up, and then as he put it down, I made him full screen. So then it was just Buddha full screen, not showing anything, and then we went back to normal. And it cracked me up really bad for some reason. All right, so Batman Year One,
Yeah, I've gone for Batman Year One. I'm
the mother of all
So-
prequels.
exactly. I am a sucker for a good origin story, and there's no better origin story than Batman's origin story. Although this isn't really, I'd argue, his origin story. It's really Batman the early years, Batman the college years. It doesn't really delve too heavily into the the mythos, the lore, the dead parents. But like I say, like the Dark Knight Returns, I bored him that much.
No, like, what the hell, dude?
He's wandered off. Not a Year One fan, Ben.
Apparently.
Yeah, I'll keep going. I'll
Yeah,
I'll
no,
keep
you
talking
just
about a Year One.
keep doing that. Yes.
Well, I'll have to keep talking. I was hoping he'd let me share my screen because I think this was a very influential book. It's one of those books, like a few like Arkham Asylum and like The Dark Knight Returns, that was really.
Buddha, you can
mined
share
by-
your screen. I'm here. I turned my camera off
Okay.
for a second, but I'm here. I haven't gone anywhere.
Well, this book was mined by Hollywood, and it influenced a lot of the movie versions. I think probably more so than any other comic, because I
Was
mean
it dark and
Hollywood.
gritty?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
it was. The Dark Knight Returns was really the game changer in the 80s, also by Frank Miller, that did the dark and gritty Batman and showed you could do a serious Batman story for adults and it would sell. And then off the back of that, they asked him to do Batman's origin story. So he ended up doing Year One. So this is, a continuation of Batman in that more adult-oriented style.
Right.
But
So
are we sharing?
Not yet. So I've heard of it, but I've never read it. So who?
You've not shared your screen. Click on present, Buddha, and then click on share screen.
Yes, I know. I hadn't. I'll do that now. Okay, so can you see that? This is
See, this is just one lovable tropes of our show. Buddha doesn't know how to share his screen, but that's all right. While he figures it out, I'll share mine.
Oh, am I not sharing it?
No, not yet.
You're not.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, recursion.
There we go. There it is.
Okay.
Just in
recursion
the nick.
again. Oh, okay.
Just in the
Sorry,
nick, Buddha.
sir.
I almost skipped you. All right, so something interesting for me about your selection is like Frank Miller's Batman concept kind of gets overshadowed by The Dark Knight because that's so big and so crazy. So
Yeah.
So I like, what made you pick this one over Dark?
I just like it more. Well, it took me a while to get my head around The Dark Knight. Actually, I think The
Okay.
Dark Knight's a great story, but the way it's illustrated, I found very off-putting when I read it, and it wasn't until I watched the animated version and I could just immerse myself in the story that it was actually watching the animated version that made me go, oh, okay, yeah, this is actually a really brilliantly written Batman story. But the fact of the matter is that that's probably like one of the earliest Batman comics I read, and you have to really. It doesn't really work if you're not ingrained in Batman lore. If you just know the basics, you know, he the Batcave, the Batmobile, he fights the Joker. You know, it doesn't work if you don't know who Harvey Dent is by name, for example, and you know all these other references to the character, and that. But whereas I mean, you can see here that the style of this book is a lot more. It's a lot more accessible to the new reader, and you know, there's a lot. I mean, there's Jim Gordon as a character. There's Bruce Wayne, and Selina Kyle turns up later on, and that's about it. You know, that's so it's a lot more accessible. You know, and it's the origin story. It's dealing with Batman in the early days. So it was a lot more accessible as a story to me, I found.
Were you always curious about the early days of Batman?
Yeah. I mean, I think my knowledge of Batman is gleaned mostly from the films and the TV show. So, you know, obviously I knew the lore. His parents were murdered. I mean, you don't glean a lot from the lore from the TV show, but it was nice to see it fleshed out here and there. I'm just skimming through this because I want to find some examples of how Hollywood has ripped on this book over the years.
But is that you, is that you sharing then, Buddha or Ben?
This is me. Yeah.
Okay. Because if you look at the top, go up. Yeah, and you up. Okay, you see that the purple buttons there. One of them says multi-page.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know which pages. But this is the.
But that's okay. It shows you all the pages. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Sure.
Oh, okay.
But this is what I was looking for, because here we have the introduction of Bruce Wayne. Okay. He's in training, and you'll see here that we have essentially. No, he has his voiceover coming in, but it's all handwritten notes like a journal.
Right.
So this was heavily cribbed, I think, this style for the latest Batman film, The Batman, which was the first Batman film to employ a voiceover, and then you see after sort of half an hour of hearing Bruce Wayne's voiceover, you see that it's all a journal that he's writing. This is him. No, this is Jim Gordon dealing with the corruption in Gotham. Here we have more of Bruce Wayne, and I mean, look, this is Taxi
I like
Driver.
that
This
panel.
is
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Exactly.
And he goes
Lee
to
Taylor book.
yeah, he goes to beat up a pimp.
As you do.
Yeah. And so here we have the introduction of Selina Kyle, who in this version is a dark-skinned sex worker. So again, heavily cribbed.
That's the
by
best
latest
version,
Batman.
really.
Absolutely. And let me just skim through.
Although I
and
kind of
find-
like Jeff Loeb's like purple, kind of purple color, really thick legs version of Catwoman. You know, from The Long Halloween. That one was a close second.
yeah.
I like that one too.
I'm just trying to find a panel here that was heavily cribbed, but probably the most cribbed image from any comic in the movies, and I know it's in this version.
Sale, right? Tim Sale would be the artist on that book. Anyways,
The art, yeah. Oh no, David Mazzucchelli with Richmond Lewis.
no, I meant The Long Halloween, but I should stop taking.
Oh, The Long
attention
Halloween.
From yeah. So
So yeah, I mean, this is more Jim Gordon's story.
that's what I was going to
realized on
say.
a reread. Yeah,
Because it's like
he's-
I feel like he's trying to give you like a coherent, solid body of knowledge about each of these characters. Because when you talk about accessibility, I think a lot of people come into comic books and they're just thrown into this world, and you want to be like, well, who's Jim Gordon? Who's Bruce Wayne? Who are Selina Kyle? Like, I'm supposed to just know who this is already. So it's like kind of helpful to have it all in your mind after reading this book, you know?
Exactly. Here's the image I was looking for. And this was created by none other than Joel Schumacher himself, who's, sort of universally lauded as being one of the worst things to happen to the Batman movie franchise. But he was heavily influenced by this book. And I believe he used this image in both his films. Actually, I think maybe, am I right in saying Chris Nolan used this as well? I have a vision of bats flying through a window, maybe in Batman Begins, and coming straight at the camera.
Yeah,
I think usually
I
if
think it's
bats
been
went
done a
up
few
against
times.
the window would win.
Well, maybe I'm misremembering it. I mean, it's probably a bat flying in slow motion through a smoky backdrop.
Yeah.
But in my memory, it's
Well, there was
it's
a
a
shot
smashing window.
that
No,
did happen in the animated series. There's an episode where that happens. In fact, it happens a few
Oh, yeah.
times because sometimes he's recalling it, sometimes he's having a vision of it. Right? It's a pretty ongoing motif, I think, and I think it happens in the live action version. I'm not sure which one.
Yeah, but it's a perfect metaphor for Bruce Wayne's fractured psyche, I think, at the time.
Here we go.
I'll just show you
The Schumacher films were better than the recent Batman movie.
well, we're not getting into this now.
We weren't even talking about the new Batman
Fuck
movie.
yeah.
I'm just pointing out all the ways that Year One has influenced Hollywood over the years. This is how Year One ends. So Jim Gordon's waiting on the roof. Sarah's in New York. As for me, well, there's a real panic on. Somebody's threatened to poison the Gotham Reservoir. Calls himself the Joker. I got a friend coming who might be able to help. Should be here any minute. I mean, okay, so this is a book from '87. This is Jim Gordon. This is in every way the final scene from Batman Begins.
Right.
He's him meeting Batman on the roof, telling him about this new guy on the scene.
The escalation scene.
The escalation scene, the Joker. Yeah. So, a very influential book.
Yeah, Year One's great.
Is it?
How many issues was it, or how many pages was it?
It's a very short read. It's under 100. Yeah.
Okay.
96 pages. So perfect for me.
I'm sure there's a full animated movie on Year One.
There is. I've never seen the animated movie.
I have, but I remember nothing about it. But I remember thinking it was all right. Yeah.
Yeah. Of the animated movies, I thought this Dark Knight Returns movie was absolutely great. Peter Weir is a great elder Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
The Killing Joke, though. Ooh.
Yeah, that they crowbar a load of Batgirl scenes into it.
Yeah, I mean the Killing Joke is. I was tempted to go for the Killing Joke as well, but I think I just enjoyed this more. But the Killing Joke is an even more slender read than this. I think it only levels out at 50 pages. So when they decided to do an animated feature on the Killing Joke, they had to expand it. But the way they did it is just by crowbarring this backstory.
More Batgirl stuff or something?
Yeah, but it's about an affair between Bruce Wayne and...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, that wasn't in
Barbara
the book.
Gordon.
Obviously,
Yeah.
wasn't in the book.
Yeah. And obviously she's a prominent character.
And like, I have mixed feelings about that because on the one hand, it's like kind of weird because it's not really true to them. Because like in the comic books, they wouldn't do that. But then on the other hand, I think it's pretty kinky. So, I'm probably okay with it.
Yeah.
Isn't she quite young in the cartoon as well?
Fine.
I'm sure I remember there being some kind of outcry that Batman was jailbaiting.
You dirty old man.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Well,
interesting because like there's rumors about like the relationship between Batman and the female Robin that he has in the Dark Knight, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, isn't it?
I mean, all his relationships assuming that all the Robins are the kids that they are drawn and purport to be, then it is weird. The whole Robin thing's weird that he keeps recruiting these really young kids. And then they keep, they die.
Yeah.
And then he just replaces them with.
Oh, well, let's get another one.
There's a dark story in there somewhere that hasn't been taken advantage of.
It would be weird if he had an affair with the one that he gets to dress up as a boy that he used to hang out with.
Yeah. Yeah, very interesting.
Well,
Bruce
Frank
Wayne,
Miller
expert groomer.
I think Frank Miller was flirting with that line, with that character, honestly.
Right.
I mean, there's no real smoking gun where you think like he's molesting this girl, but it's weird, the dynamic between them. And she's drawn like overly sensual a la Frank Miller. So I don't know, man. It's a little weird, but it's not the end of the world.
Do you remember the scene where she I can't even remember what happens to her. She goes through something that's like pretty stressful. And he's like cradling her and he's calling her a good
and
soldier.
she's got like her hand flat against his chest and like It's mhm.
Good
It's
soldier.
weird.
Is
Good
that in the
soldier.
Killing
Yeah.
Joke? Is it?
I mean, I can only imagine it's got something to do with how he views his childhood, right? It's some kind of expression of how he views the way he reacted to his parents dying. So he keeps recruiting these broken children to sort of fight,
To be their parent for them.
right? But he's sort of trying to force them into turning into their version of Batman, and it's probably pretty unhealthy.
Yeah, it is a very weird form of grooming.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is good. But I like that. I like that. I like that. There's a dark edge to it that you could explore.
Yeah,
That's why Batman's so interesting. I think. It's got all
yeah. Well,
these,
I mean, no one ever said Batman was perfect. You know,
he's the opposite, right?
Yeah.
Completely broken.
And the beauty of the character is if you do spot any flaws in them, well, that's just right material then to be explored in further stories.
Sure, yeah.
That's true, yeah.
But I mean, in his defense, you know, if he did, when he does have an affair with Batgirl, I mean, she is at the end of her career as Batgirl, so it must be an
Fair
L.
enough.
Fair
because
enough.
she is,
Yeah.
You know,
And you could
she is
also
crippled in
kind
that
of
story.
you should also kind of see it as like this weird like Greek tragedy kind of retribution or something, you know, like oh, you fucking crossed the line, like that shakes the fabric of reality. Now you're disabled, you know, like is that a weird take or does that make sense?
No.
No. Because I mean, there's all these daddy issues going on.
Right.
I should have just picked the Killing Joke. We just talking about the Killing Joke now. But it's there's all these not Oedipal. What's the opposite of Oedipal? All these. She's got daddy issues, you know.
Yeah. It's called Electra. It's called an Electra syndrome. It's what do you call it? Complex. An Electra complex is the gender's reversed.
Oh, I never knew that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The character Electra, by the way, also by Frank Miller, fucking was based on that concept from Greek mythology. So there's another fucking weird coincidence. I don't know her story that well. I haven't read all of Frank Miller Daredevil, but like he created the character, right? So he chose the name.
Yeah.
And that's more of an indicator in my mind.
Yeah.
And
so not based on Carmen Electra.
No.
Which is a name I haven't heard since about 1999.
Yeah. Since the last Scary Movie, probably. She was getting the very end of any jobs that were being offered to her.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she was a person, wasn't she?
Yeah. So at first it was she had big tits, and then by Scary Movie, she has big tits and she farts as well.
What more do you look for in a woman?
Mm.
Why did that scare Ben off?
Can't have both. So what books have you been through then?
Well, just year one so
Just
far.
year one.
Has anyone else got one to go?
Yeah, we could do more.
Was this whole
Batman, No
podcast?
Man's Land.
Yeah, do go for it.
I didn't hear Max and Rob's choices last week. I only heard No Man's
Did you
Land.
not?
I'd like to hear. Yeah.
Mine was Arkham Asylum.
Mine was Batman Damned.
Batman Damned.
Damn.
I think that's how it's pronounced anyway.
Which I still haven't read that, Rob. I know
it's great. It's a great read. I liked it.
Yeah.
A bit weird, but
And
it's
like,
all right. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Like of all of these books, mine is the big ask because this is like 80 issues. If you're gonna read the whole story,
Damn, yeah.
It sounded huge.
That should be
And,
called
like,
Batman Damn.
Batman, damn. But like, I'll just start you off on like how it gets going a little bit, because it's like, because of the lack of technology and stuff, they just devolve into tribes, and then I think it's really cool because since it's set in an urban setting, because we're talking about like this is like third world problems in New York City, basically, and
I
so
remember
it's
now.
much. Yeah,
Sorry,
remember?
yeah, because they're across the bridge, like Escape from New York. I'd almost
Exactly.
forgotten that. Yeah.
So we're in Escape from New York times, which means that we're in fucking Rwanda, but it's New York City, right? And so that means that we have all of the infrastructure of a metropolis. So it's all about graffiti and street culture, right? So the chieftains of these warring tribes, they mark their territory with by tagging, which I think is so cool. Exactly. So they've got this gang war going on between low boys and demons, right? So they cross out the demons and they put the low boys, and this is the thing. And you stack the bodies of your killed enemies below your new graffiti to let them know that you're serious, right?
Huh.
And it's a pretty wild fucking thing. And they asked Jim Gordon, like, how far would you go to protect his daughter? He's talking about all the way. Yes, I'm prepared to go all the way. So he's like realizing the stakes, which is funny because this book really flirts with the orthodoxy of the Batman, ethos and morality of like every Batman story canonically always has like a no killing philosophy, right? And if you go against that, you're seen as like a deviant or a heretic, you could say, right? Like Red Hood. Oh, he kills people. We don't approve of him, right? Which is
Burn him!
Exactly. And so like the stakes of how dire the circumstances are kind of force that really in view under a microscope, really, because it's at the point where if you're not killing your enemies, they're going to be killing you. And that's literally what happens, because what else could happen? That's how it goes. My mom talks about people that don't understand about snakes. And it's like a metaphor that she uses to talk about like why, sometimes it's necessary to kill, because like if you find a poisonous snake on your farm, you can't just like capture it and then like release it somewhere else, because then it's going to go bite someone else and kill them. So it's like, if it's a venomous snake, you just got to kill it. Right. And like in this kind of circumstance where there's no infrastructure for prisons, you can't sustain these people. You can't feed them. So there's nowhere to put them. So that creates this huge moral dilemma surrounding all the characters in Gotham City as to how do we fight a war where we're not killing the enemy?
Right.
How do you deal with that?
Taking a character that has a no-kill code and putting them in the dilemma where they have to kill is the interesting part. Right.
Exactly.
The part that isn't interesting is always avoiding writing them having to do it because that's their code of honor, right? So you've got the interesting part about someone having a code is how they act when they have to break it. That's the interesting part. Always. Otherwise,
exactly.
You're using the writing as a tool to just fucking avoid shit.
And so, exactly. And so they created this character, Pettit. I don't remember his first name, but he's an officer, right? A high-ranking officer in the police force. And he's all about, we need to fucking kill our enemies. And that's like crazy because that's anti-Batman morality, right? And so he and Jim Gordon are arguing about it. But Jim kind of realizes and gives in a little bit where he goes, members of the street demons and low boys, right? The GCPD gang just took over this territory, right? You have 1 hour to get out of our territory. And if you are found here after that, the penalty is death. And it's like, are you bluffing, Jim Gordon? Are you like assuming they'll be afraid and leave? And then what happens if one of them disobeys? And now if you don't kill him, you look like a liar and a coward. So What? This is a bad chess move, James. You know what I mean?
Unless he's like 100% prepared to do it, right?
Yeah.
Which he's not, because he shows that right here in the next couple of panels. Pettit kills one of them, and he's like, and just to show you we're not fooling around, right?
Yeah.
And after he does that, they scatter and they run away. And Jim Gordon does this whole little thespian bullshit where he pretends to be angry about it, right? Damn it, Pettit, that was out of line, way out of line. Give me a break, Jim Gordon. You know, like, I don't believe you, dude. I don't believe you. You know, at least that was my reading. And we have this showdown where he's like, look me in the eye and tell me I'm wrong. And so it's really funny because I fundamentally disagree with the idea that you should never kill. I think that the world, the way it is we're way past that. And there's circumstances where it's absolutely called for. And this would be one of them, in my opinion. And I think the story demonstrates that. But it's really strange because later volumes kind of pervert the character, in my view, make him kind of
the Jim Gordon character.
No, the Pettit character, the pro death penalty guy. They kind of make him into a straw man and kind of just like mess him up. I mean, make him look like an idiot, like a conspiracy, like one of these, conspiracy guys or whatever.
Right.
And it's like, and I didn't enjoy that. So that was a complaint that I would have for how the story ended. But as far as volume 1 is concerned, I like that a lot. And then this is really, really cool because there's a couple of times where we see someone saving someone and it's in the shadows. We looked at those last week and it turns out to not be Batman. And so we have this Batwoman, right? And I really find this interesting. I really find this interesting because she is like deferential. She even says, like, if you tell me to stop, I'll stop, right? For now. She's like, do I have your permission? I'm approved, right? Yeah, there she says it. If you want me to take it off, I will. And she's even got like the cowl in hand. Like, just say the word and I'll take the mask off right now. Like, this is your gig. Which I really appreciate. Because like we're living in a day and age where a lot of times like the sublimation of male characters with female versions is kind of like tilting in a it's really abundant, right? Like it's something I can appreciate that would happen once in a while, but there's so many examples lately, and that's weird. So like I like that she's like deferring. She's like, I'm doing your thing. I know it's your thing. And I like that. But he's also fair as well because he doesn't just tell her what to do. He actually makes the point that like she got to it first. She was doing the Batman thing while he was out of commission. So how could he tell her to stop, right? She got there before he did. So he's actually respecting her right back. And so I think that's really cool because I think a lot of times comic books really fuck up when they try to have these kind of dynamics between men and women. And this one really rings true to me for how it is in reality. So I don't know.
Right. No, that's great. It's an example of a female character done right.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah, and nice and positive.
And I really like the visual of. Yeah, I like the design as well. Like I usually don't go in for like all black costumes or like all one color costumes, but there's a couple of reasons why this one works for me. And one is because we have like this contrast of the way the symbol is laid out, right? The same colors, obviously, but the different kind of layout scheme. It's inverted, exactly. It's inverted, and then the black just melds into the whole background of her. And since she has this mask, right? Because she's proper masked. She's actually protecting her identity, which kind of
she's gone full Rorschach with the Batman mask.
Exactly, and because she's covering the part that Batman doesn't cover, it's really conspicuous, right? And that makes her stand out because it's different from what you're expecting, and it also draws your attention to the fact that everyone knows who Batman is by now, right? There's so many characters. There's so many characters in the Batman universe that know his identity, right? So it's like my identity is actually a secret, right? Bruce, you know what I mean? So that's fun. And then like
You just know Chris Nolan's read this book. He just that's the vibe I'm getting from this. It just tonally it feels like a Christopher Nolan Batman film, especially the Jim Gordon stuff. And those panels could be ripped straight from The Dark Knight Rises.
Every time you see the sort of inspired material, it's always better than the. It's always better than the movie. Just take the fucking original material and make the movie of that instead of.
I know. Well, yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking when I'm looking at this. I'm kind of going, "Oh, that's what they were going for."
Yeah, this would be better. This would be a lot better.
I can see now how this could have been cool. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. That's always the case.
I can see now how this could have been cool.
Instead of sewing together like several DC story like plot lines, just do one or two at the max.
Exactly, because what they misunderstand is that these aren't just fun elements that you can take out of here and put here, and that's going to still work. This is a very carefully constructed, complex story. This is a fractal story. It's a big story with a bunch of little stories inside of it. So you can't just take it apart and expect it to have the same effect.
Yeah. Right.
I think that's something that Marvel does a lot better when they tend to adapt single stories when they do their film adaptations. Whereas, you're right, a lot of the DC stuff, especially Batman, it tends to be, let's just take the iconic moments from The Dark Knight Returns and mix
they did it the most, I think, with the Batman v Superman film. And they sort of tried to cross The Dark Knight with the death of Superman and another Lex Luthor Superman story. It didn't work. Like,
it's like what are the two story? What are the two books that most of the general public have heard of?
Put them together, but they're so different. Like,
rather than let's just find a good story. And
the burnt out Batman. If you're going for the burnt out old Batman, the whole story needs to be about him, not just like a fraction. Like it does. It was just too much for the senses. And then they all end up sort of cancelling each other out. Fucking idiots, really.
Well, most Hollywood executives, profess to be comic book geeks because you have to be in this day and age, but they really aren't.
Even comic book geeks ain't comic book. You still got to like.
No.
The thing is, nobody can know all the histories, can they?
No, but there are several big, popular, well-written stories by, we all know like the big, like names like Alan Moore and Grant Morrison and all the rest of it, and that are capable of like producing, and Frank Miller, are capable of producing like these great works. So just take them and and fucking base a film on them. I mean, they've done it a couple of times. And almost every time they've done it solidly, it's worked.
They only do it with animated ones for some reason. They're willing to do it with the animated ones.
Yeah, DC. But they did like Watchmen. They did Sin City. I mean, it's not DC, but and they were, they worked and they were successful.
Well, here's the reason why, because they're always looking for a different IP to exploit. Right. Yeah. So like there hasn't been any Watchmen movie. So let's make one. That's why. But there's been a fucking 100 Batman movies. So they're not like hungry for a new take on Batman. You know what I mean? Yeah. Even though they should be. Yeah. But they don't realize that.
Yeah, though they should be. They should be. And that should be the way they go forward.
Right. And I'm glad that you've all said that, because now you all agree with my critique of the Batman.
Do we?
Yeah, because my point was it's the same old shit, and then the reply was, but it's Hollywood, isn't it? And I was like, yeah, but they should be looking to do different stuff. And everyone was like, no, it's all right. It's like James Bond. Like, no, it's not all right. They need to do fucking something new. And now you've all just said it. Now we're not talking about that shit film.
It's all right. It's just James
It's
Bond.
not all right. It's not all right.
It's not all right.
But yeah, you're right. James Bond is based on, for the large part, on individual stories. So,
Yeah,
they
but
should do it with Batman.
they're just all. I mean, out of all the James Bond movies, there's like a handful of good ones, and the rest of them are like.
There's too many.
Yeah,
There's
mid
way
range
too
about.
fucking many.
Yeah.
There's
got
too
mine,
many,
yeah.
dude. I
Yeah,
can't
it's
watch
too
them.
many. Yeah.
Can't be
Yeah.
bothered.
I haven't seen the last one. I've seen everyone up until.
I haven't seen.
Which one was the last one?
Fucked if I know.
No Time to Die.
Ah, right. It wasn't fucked if I know.
There's no
So is that the one that's kind of based in Scotland?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
No.
Oh, Skyfall.
Yeah, no, that was about 10
Skyfall.
years ago. That one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
alright
good
then.
one. That I like Skyfall.
Yeah, but it's kind of interesting, you know, because these franchises have been around for so long, and they all kind of like Batman, James Bond, Judge Dredd. They all kind of have this like idea that we're going to explore how it is because they're getting older, whether they can still do the job.
Sure.
Right? They all do that, and like
But
really in
they do it.
a popular culture universe, nobody ever ages. Right?
But they do it in a way where you're like, it's really weird. They talk about like up until the movie, they're like, oh, we're gonna go for an older, more grizzled Batman or James Bond, and this is right. And then by the time you get there, you're just like, it. I mean, it doesn't look like an older, more grizzled Batman. It just looks like Batman. Like I'm expecting fucking Clint Eastwood. Look at some proper grizzled looking dude who's done, you know, like Unforgiven.
Right turn, Clive. You're
See,
feeling lucky, punk.
No, I don't mean like him as a character. I just mean like the age of the character. You've seen Unforgiven, where he's like the aged out cowboy, and he's clearly too old to do that anymore. But he's like, but inherent in him is like a knack for killing, even though he's like a bit blind and a bit sort of decrepit. And then all the way through it, he's like, because he's suffering from sort of PTSD that he's caused himself. For all the horrible shit that he's done, he gets into a situation at the end where he's forced to fight, and it just comes back to him like that, and he kills everyone in the bar. And then when they ask him how he can do it, he goes, "I don't know. I've just always been able to do it." And that's what I wanted to see from Batman, like an older, grizzled Batman. Was a guy that was like, "I've had enough," and then right at the end, he just busts out some bat moves and just destroys people.
I have just had a great idea that you cross Batman with Mr. Magoo, right?
Well, because
basically his blinders, he can't.
What's
hear
your great
anything.
idea?
And like the thing is, and look, basically, you know, he just like potters around and still like, you know, like beats the bad guys.
There's merit in that. You could listen. If anyone was going to be like a blind samurai character. That if anyone was to go blind as they're older, then had to learn how to fight blind, it'd be fucking Batman. Because you could write that. That would be good. Isn't there a film about that with yeah, exactly. And the bat is the got echolocation. It's perfect.
Name vengeance.
Reversing white vans would be a bugger to get around.
What's his name? The samurai Zatoichi. The blind samurai. He's like a huge legend. They've done like loads of films on him. You did the Zatoichi of Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. Yeah. And have it as an actual older guy, not just Ben Affleck with a bit of silver in his hair, looking
right. They exploited the blindness thing in the animated series where they had him like wearing a mask fighting without being able to see. And using echolocation, but like that was one episode, and like, that's a big thing with bats.
Should have him like write an alternative story where he's old, the old man Batman, the old man Wayne, and then have him fully go blind and having to deal.
That would rule.
Yeah,
that would kick so much ass. Yeah, and then he'd need a Robin Then you'd need a Robin to be his eyes, to like
Yeah.
spy and shit and tell him what's going on.
Right.
Left
Then
leg
he'd
live.
Then he'd have
Well,
then he'd have plausible deniability of why this young girl is living with him.
Well, Robin would be about his age in
about
normal
50.
Batman, well, no, he or she would be like in their prime, wouldn't they? They'd be in their mid-30s. Who would play him, Buddha? Is that what you asked?
Yeah. Who's doing the Clint Eastwood thing now? Because Clint Eastwood's 90. So
I'll tell you who.
I've got it.
I'll tell you who. Although he's a bit short, Josh Brolin. He's
I
in
got a
his
better
late
idea.
50s.
Yeah.
Go
Jason Statham in 10 years.
on. No, not Jason Statham.
You know,
Yes,
I
Jason.
got a feeling that Jason
He can't-
Statham,
Have you heard the
Yes,
American
Jason
accent? It's dog shit.
Jason Statham would be playing Max. You know, that's
Yeah.
what Jason Statham would be playing. Right.
I mean, I'm all for a bald Batman, but he's.
How old is Liam Neeson now? He's getting there, isn't he?
I think isn't he about 70 now?
I don't want a Liam Neeson Batman, dude. That's not rough enough. It's not tough enough. It's not chiseled jaw, big pecs.
But he's
Liam
old.
Neeson's always struck me as an actor playing tough rather than being the real deal.
Yeah. Liam Neeson,
I think he's
I don't know.
70 now with Liam Neeson.
Is he 70?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
Liam Neeson's a great actor, but like he's not Batman, dude. Come on. You gotta be
Nah.
way
he's-
much you gotta have more testosterone for that.
He's a big dude, though, isn't
Yes.
he? Yeah,
a
I
big,
don't know.
tall 70-year-old.
I don't know. Well,
I like Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin. He's a bit short, though.
So should we? All right. Who else? Who else? What do you think?
Hang on one second. I just found something. Boom. Yeah. Oh, hang on a second.
What?
What? Hey, what you talking to me?
All right.
Are you? Are you sharing?
Well,
Are you
yeah,
are
you-
sharing?
you
Yeah.
said- You said boom, and I assume that's what you meant.
Oh, fair
Yeah,
enough.
you made it seem like you were
I
going to
saw this
show
a
us
couple-
something.
Yeah, you're right.
When you said
And then nothing
when you
happened.
said let me show you something, we
Oh,
thought you were
right.
going to
Well,
show
are
us
you?
something.
Hang on a sec. But you're sharing my screen, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Who
So
was-
yeah, I saw this a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, oh well, what a bloody coincidence, you know, like. But maybe it's just like because I'm on the lookout for Batman stuff. Have you seen this yet?
Who was
This
never
ver-
been Batman? Ben Affleck.
Yeah, I've read it.
Val
So-
Clooney, Val Kilmer, Adam.
He
Well,
makes
Yeah,
no
but this
sense.
is- But this is from 2008.
Oh, so who had been Batman
Oh.
at that point?
Ben
Okay.
Affleck. Ben Affleck.
Yeah, exactly. Ben Affleck at that time had not been Batman, right? But how cool is that?
Technically, right, Ben Affleck has been on screen as Batman and Superman.
Really?
He was in a film
Yes.
where he played the guy that played the original Superman
Ah,
in the
right.
series, and he's
Okay.
in the suit. He's like fully in the suit.
Dude, he would not be
Very
able
realistic.
to play Batman versus Superman, though, would he?
Well,
I mean, that,
look,
that would just
if
be.
you can listen, you can double up Arnie in any film that he feels like having a fucking twin in. So why can't
Absolutely.
you do it with Ben Affleck?
Yeah, but like
Cool.
Arnie's twin was Danny DeVito, if I remember correctly.
Have you ever seen The Sixth Day, where it's a clone of him?
Yeah. Oh, I'm number one.
Cool. Cool.
All right, so that's all that was.
All right, so what else have I got? Okay,
Oh, have you got else? All right.
yeah, I got else. I got loads else. I tell you what, I've been.
What's up with
like,
that dude's head?
Absolutely. This is. Oh, hang on a second. Oh, there goes my microphone. Give me a second. I need to.
Still here.
Me-
What is
Yeah,
going
okay.
on, dude?
So
Now
no,
Rob's
I
leaving.
picked this up from a live. What?
Are you there, Rob? It's
Yeah,
me.
I'm here again. So I
All
picked
right.
this up from a library in Cologne, right? What up? What are you looking at? What's going on?
We're wondering that exact thing.
Right. Okay. What's the original title? Okay, German is Whoa, make me big. Okay, good.
Is
Yeah.
that Magnolia?
Well, this is it. I mean, it says, look, check that out because it's ex-library.
Magnolium?
Right? It's a Mike Mignola, perché è italiano, eh? So Mike Mignola, right? But the thing is, it's not because Mignola wrote this, I believe. Yeah, story Mike Mignola and Richard Pace, script Mike Mignola, and then the artist, right, is, well, you got two artists. You got the penciler, I guess, Troy Nixey and Dennis Janker. And hang on a sec, can that be right? Yeah. Oh no, that's Doctor. The inker is Dennis Janker or Yanker. Say what?
Yeah.
This is Batman Damned.
It's no. Batman Damned was last week, and that was brilliant, beautiful.
So what are you showing us now?
Schatten under Gotham.
Yeah.
Should I not be sharing your screen?
No, definitely you can. I just thought because looking for a story, because I'm not a huge Batman, like I know everything about Batman. No.
But are you going to be talking about what's on the share screen?
Exactly. This is from this book. That's the English version. This is the German version. And exactly what Max was saying. Max, what the hell is going on with these faces, right?
Yeah, they fucked that head up massively.
I know. Totally.
And the helmet, it looks like dog shit.
Yeah. So here's my question. What do you think is going on here?
I have no idea.
But this is a full book. This must be like, I mean, it's like, I don't know how many pages it is, but it's sturdy enough.
Yeah.
But I'm just like thinking, what the hell? And you know what I think they've done here? Doom comes to Gotham. That's the story. Doom comes.
This guy does his heads massive, like the features on their faces are huge.
Yeah. I think I know what's gone on here. Some artists do that thing where you use a lasso tool.
Yeah.
To fill black.
Yeah.
And I think this is what's happened here, and it hasn't worked very well at all.
Oh, you think it's like? Oh, I see. Like digital.
Yeah. Is there a natural? See,
I don't, because I my philosophy when I'm inking or painting is if in doubt, black it out. Right. So a lot of my shit has got a lot of black in it. However,
but this looks like a lino print.
You know what I mean? Because it's sort of vector art, but like. My issue is that the panel on the left ain't too bad. The one on the right,
this one,
the other side, the one with the guy with the helmet on. It's just the proportions are all that. So look at the size of his. Look at the size of that dude's hand compared to that guy's head.
Yeah, for sure.
So if he was to touch, like his hand would get smaller if he was to touch his chin. So his hand would be like a fucking little doll's hand on his chin.
Right.
So it looks to me like the proportions.
Yeah.
Sort of off, but I think it's because I think he just does it on the faces. Like, if you go to the bottom, Batman's nose and eyes are enormous.
Yeah. I mean, this? Oh, you recognize this as Batman? Because that was going to be my next question.
No. I mean, this guy. Yeah, and his hands look too small again.
Yeah, Batman has let himself go.
Yeah, he's got a giant head.
So many of these faces are just so two-dimensional. Now, I know comics are two-dimensional, of course, but you got to have at least the illusion of three dimensions, right? I mean, look at this. What the?
Like, there are some artists that their stuff's flat, and the colour's flat, but it works.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we were talking about it on another show,
Rob.
I was trying to think of the name of the comic.
Right, okay.
Frankie Boyle did a comic called Rex Royd, and the artwork's kind of flat, and it's just and so are the colours.
Right.
And It's a bit messy as well, but I like the art. I really
Right,
dig
right.
it. But there's something about this that's off.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
This
I
is
can't figure out what it is.
this is so janky. The thing is, there are some make me big. Right. I mean, the whole idea is a Cthulhu kind of. Oh, let me just put that. Yeah. Okay. Like kind of a Cthulhu story.
Yeah.
Right. So the story itself is kind of interesting. But all the time the art just like makes me go, oh come on, no. So some of the art's good.
Yeah, I
must
can see
admit.
it's mixed. It
It
feels
is.
to me like the guy just has problems with proportion, and
Yeah.
that could be down to just the amount of time that the artist has got to do it.
Right. I mean that word there. That's a really nice panel actually.
Yeah,
Although that kind of leaping, flying Batman,
yeah,
you could see what I'm saying with the Lasso Tool ink fill, can't you?
yeah.
Yeah. So that's the first thing I wanted to
Interesting.
show. Yeah, for sure. That's the first thing I wanted to show. Then I wanted to show this jokey bit as well. Make me small. It's really funny because I saw this urinals of a Justice League. I saw this actually a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I was going to show it last week. And you know what? RJ Critical Blast, he shared this today. I'm like, oh. Next is Batman's specially made urinal.
Just pisses into the Joker's mouth.
The ever vigilant Cape Crusader refuses to anything that isn't shaped like a freaking bat.
So is this like a modern creation that expertly reproduced the style and like layout of old time comics, or is this real?
I don't know. I think it's one of those things that one of the I don't know
it's
where it's from.
I think it's
don't
a
know.
retro design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah,
It's very well done.
yeah.
It's
for sure.
extremely extraordinarily well done. It looks for all the world like comic books from those times.
Yeah. I'm sure there's like a Photoshop filter that you can put over
that's
any
like
artwork,
grainy.
and it'll give you the grain look. And then all you got to do then.
Sure.
There we
mimic
go.
the art style.
Kerrycation blogspot.com. There you go. Yeah. Mind you, even the lettering really has that feel, doesn't it?
Yes, it
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
would
the
have more
Aegis brown.
Typed on a typewriter.
Yeah.
I would have had more respect for him if I could see where they were taking his shit.
Yeah. Okay. Oh God. And that's what
So,
I
yeah.
got. That's what I got. Yeah.
Cool. All right. No, that's cool. How long have we been going? Should we go back to? I could do No Man's Land literally for the entire day.
Yeah, come on. Let's
Should we do a little more No
We can
Man's
get
Land?
into it, bro.
Yeah.
Go on then.
Cool.
And then if you've got 5 minutes later, let me show that.
Sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I like No Man's Land because it kind of solves the problem of trying to jam all the supervillains and all the allies into one story. Like when you try to do that in a small story, it doesn't work because they're just kind of all in each other's way and none of them does anything. But this story is so massive that Batman can go through each territory of gangs and like defeating its boss, like a video game almost, where he's like, oh, now I'm going to go into Batman has made his return, right? And now I'm going to go into ventriloquist territory and take care of that guy. And then I'm going to go on to Scarecrow. Excuse me. And so the ventriloquist, I feel, is a really underutilized character. There's some really, really cool episodes of the animated series about the ventriloquist. My personal favorites, actually, of the animated series anyways. But in the comic books, he's not really exploited that well. And in this one, I think it really highlights the absurdity of this character and how this schizophrenia is so strange because he's like wasting perishable food. Well, not perishable, but he's wasting consumable food, which is
it's creepy
scarce.
as well. It's
You
really
know?
creepy. Like you could go like almost horror with that character
Right.
if you knew how to do it correctly.
am I among the four of us the only one that's never heard of the ventriloquist then?
Yeah, I've heard of him. He's basically just got one of them old style dolls. It's him, and he's like a gangster, and he just tells him what to do.
Yeah.
But like, there's an episode of Red Dwarf that me and Big Buddha know very well, where they're all funny, but where one of the characters contracts a psychosis disease, and he's got this little puppet that's a penguin. And he's like trying to kill people with it. But like, there are elements of that episode that are actually quite creepy.
Right. Okay.
Like, it could work.
It is a staple of horror. The ventriloquist who goes mad.
Master of puppets,
develops a split personality between him and his puppets, and it works so well as this sort of creepy trope. I've forgotten about the ventriloquist character, and
he's cool.
Just now,
I like it because it's literally the id. It's literally the unrestrained subconscious of the other person, right? Because there's only one human being here, right? That's important to remember. And the fact that he's lost control of his alter, it's basically people confuse schizophrenia nervosa with dissociative identity disorder.
Did I say schizophrenia?
With cases like this of so this is not schizophrenia. What this is it's a form of extreme dissociative identity disorder, which is where you create inside your own body multiple people who don't share memories and don't share intentions, right? Like Moon Knight, basically like Moon Knight. But Moon Knight's stupid because in the show, the comic book's cool, but the show sucks because it has the different personas as different entities, as different human beings living in the same body, and that doesn't even make any sense. So it only makes sense if you think about it as scattering the same person, because this is like the evil parts controlling you. Everyone has an evil part, but most of us have it under control where it doesn't do anything. But this guy's evil part is totally in control. So that's interesting.
And it bullies him as well. It's not like he's letting it control him. Like, there are scenes where he doesn't want to do things, and the puppet's making him do it, even though it's essentially it's just him.
Right.
He's like arguing with his own subconscious. Yeah,
you're
right.
He's not in control.
He is a good character.
Yeah, super underutilized.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of Batman rogues. Like the list is fucking. There's so many.
Massive,
there's such a gold mine, and they always keep coming back to the same ones over and over again. Like I don't want to see another Joker. I don't need to see another Joker. Don't need to see another Bane. I don't need to see another fucking Riddler. I've seen them all. I want them to go. Just carry on and do some of the others.
I agree, dude.
Something else with,
the Riddler sucks, by the way. I don't understand why he's in all the movies. Like
because he was in the because he was in the TV show. And
it's because everyone knows him. It's,
but the ventriloquist was in the TV show too, and I think those are the best episodes of the animated series, and still, I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but when you're selling to a general audience, you've got to go for the ones that we don't have to. I think Nolan went against the grain with that, and he used Ra's al Ghul, and even Bane wasn't a very famous character when he used him.
He'd been used before though. In the Schumacher film, hadn't he?
So, but even then, I don't think a lot of people knew him. When you think of the Schumacher film, you don't immediately think, that's the one with Bane in it.
I knew him from Nightfall, the Nightfall comic, and they did a Nightfall radio show as well on BBC in the early 90s, if you remember that. And then they introduced him into the animated series, which I was looking forward to because I'd read the Nightfall book. But that's where I knew him from. So when they fucked him up in the Schumacher film, I honestly, that erased my memory of the character until Tom Hardy came and played him It was an interesting
Do you think
choice. I was expecting a big Mexican with a luchador mask on, and
Yeah,
this time around-
I was disappointed when I saw the design for the character
right,
because
yeah,
the mask is so understated compared to what it used to be, what it was
yeah,
originally.
yeah,
Anyways,
yeah, interesting.
so it's fun how he takes care of the ventriloquist, and I think it's really interesting, like how he discovers how shit works in a tribal fucking feudal society. And like I'm conservative to the point where like I wish we still lived in this kind of world, because I think honestly, and I say this unironically, I think that overall there'd be less crime and less atrocity. I really do feel that way, because it's not like the system that we have. Because like I don't know, man. Like I read, Leviathan by Hobbes, and you just kind of realize that the farther you abstract human beings from taking care of their own problems, the more you just make these impossible bureaucracies where there's no real justice.
Right.
And
When you haven't got
and-
shit to care about, you start caring about shit.
exactly. And
Yeah.
like, we're not better off as far as crime, as far as like innocence. We're definitely not. I mean, look, we're on the brink of a nuclear war for no goddamn reason, because of people having so much power over us that we can't do anything about. So like, I don't know, man. Is it better if 12 random people that are not invested in the issue decide what was true and what wasn't? Or is it better if I just go, and if I have a problem, I sort it out my own way? I mean, and so Batman's kind of realizing that, because he's like, I'm on your side. Tell me where Scarface sleeps. And he's like, no, Scarface protects us. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm on your side, dude. He's like, how do you know what these people want? How do you know what's good for them? Right? Because like Batman has like this God complex where he thinks everyone should do what he says. Right? And then there's this fun bit where for some reason he's afraid of this guy with a shotgun. And it's weird because it's almost like the fact that guns are so rare and having a gun makes you powerful. It seems to like hypnotize even Batman. Because like, how many times have we seen this same situation where he's just like, oh, cool, someone's shooting at me. Let me just kick the shit out of him. Right.
Right.
But for some reason here, he jumps out and the narration makes it seems like he almost gets hit, right? The sudden light is blinding. I make myself a moving target. Like, holy shit. Like, this was 2 seconds away from Batman dead, right? That's nuts.
Right.
It's like it's almost like the laws of physics are different in this world. Bullets make you powerful, and Batman isn't like a Superman level force, I don't know. There's something weird about it. And then like he takes care of the ventriloquist.
Ben, are you supposed to be sharing your screen? This
because I just brought it up just in case.
Oh.
Was I not sharing my screen?
No, we were just like I couldn't. You seem to be referring to something that we couldn't see.
Oh
So-
fuck yeah, it was. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I clicked share screen, and then and then there was another part I had.
Not as easy as it looks, is it?
You're right, Buddha. And so here, here's what I was talking about. The sudden light is blinding. I make myself a moving target. Here we go again, and he jumps out the window. It seems like he almost got killed.
It's much cooler now.
All right.
Right, now we have context.
Yeah.
That's generous of you. That's generous of you. So yeah, so he takes care of the villains, one by one. And I already talked about Batwoman, right? And so
yeah.
So something really cool about this is that like how he deals with the Penguin is really interesting, because like with the ventriloquist, he sets up a way to meet him, but he's going to sell him guns. And then as long as they're both in the same place, he just beats the shit out of the ventriloquist. It's a pretty straightforward gambit to win, right? But then the Penguin presents a really interesting dilemma for him, because like, how do you stop someone who's smuggling things in and out? Like, how are you gonna just make him not do that anymore? Sorry, were you gonna say something, Max?
No, I'm listening.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so how does he do it? So he sets up this thing where he goes to the to this arena where the Penguin is having fights, right? And having like people bet on fights and like a racket, because he's like basically a casino owner, right? So this is part of that whole, what do you call it? RICO, right? Racketeering, embezzlement, it's one of those things. This is like old school mafia type crime. So you set up fights and you have people bet on it and you make money. So Batman has this ingenious thing where he shows up, and then like, what are they gonna do? Not bet on him? So he just starts fighting in the fucking tournament and fucking up all the bets because he wins every fight.
Yeah.
And
This-
then like
this- the style of this really kind of like looks a little bit like, I mean, I'm no connoisseur, you know that by now, but it kind of looks like the animated series, right?
The quality has definitely dropped from the last. The quality of art has definitely dropped from the last artist. Yeah, I know. I think that
Is his head on back to front? Is that his chest or what?
Sorry?
When was this? When did this come out then?
This was in the late 90s.
Interesting.
This would have been like 99, I think. So I like this
I
a
like
lot
that
because
one.
yeah, this is cool.
Look at Batman's face. Is he smiling? It looks like he's going.
Yeah, baby.
I think he like got. I think is it like a snarl or something? Let's see. Let's take a look.
Reminds me of Fozzie Stag.
Oh, he looks pretty happy about what's happening.
Yeah,
to him.
damn. One way to go.
Death by Snoo Snoo, isn't it?
Yeah.
I had snoo snoo.
So like, the tattooed sumo guy, everybody. He beats up everybody.
Hang on, go back to the tattooed guy, because it looks like crying fat man. You know, crying Freeman.
Oh yeah.
So that's cool, and like he takes them out one by one. He figures out how is each villain manipulating circumstances to be in power, and so he devises a strategy for each one. So I think that's ingenious.
What's happened to the Penguin's nose?
Oh, he broke it. He punched him in the face. Yeah, right at the beginning of the tournament. Yeah, it doesn't matter. But then, like, I'll just show this for a second. Oh, go ahead.
I was just wondering if that was a nod to Chinatown. Jack Nicholson, he spends most of that film with his nose bandaged up.
Oh,
he
yeah.
gets hit with a knife.
I don't think so. It happens here. It's just like I'm taking.
Okay, yeah.
He's just like stealing the show. He's just like, step aside. We're doing what I say now.
Yeah.
Dude. How many issues was this?
I don't know.
A lot.
This is a 200-page collected. I have the whole set in Florida. I can't show it. I wish I had it here, but I have them all. Like I just bought them all straight away because I knew I was going to be here for the whole story, and I don't regret it. It's one of the coolest things ever. And I just want to talk about this for a second. I'm not going to get into book 3 because that's too much, but book 3 is probably where the story really gets interesting. But I like this a lot, this cover, because it shows like, okay, now we're starting to put together the whole family. And so now we're going to start to have another level of dynamic here, because it's not book 1 and book 2 was Batman showing up, figuring out what's going on, and then going one by one after certain villains and like annexing their territory into his graffiti territory, right? So that's just Batman versus Ventriloquist, Batman versus Scarecrow, Batman versus Penguin. and moving into Batman versus Black Mask, which is a way bigger, ordeal. But book 3, we've got Robin, Nightwing, Huntress, 2 different Batwomen competing, right? And so all of this like dynamic between these characters, because they have different opinions about what's going on and what they should do. So like in family conflict, which is like more dramatic and really clever with the way that you do macro storytelling, because it's like first you do villain versus hero, then you do hero versus hero, right?
Yeah.
First you do black and white, good guys, bad guys, and then when you eventually you get to the point where there's so many characters introduced that now it's time to focus on internal conflicts. Batman versus Nightwing, Batman versus Batwoman, right? And like all this stuff. So really, really well paced is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
On that topic, have you ever done Secret Wars?
Oh gosh. We haven't done Secret Wars. It's a pretty bare bones story, honestly. Like I think something like this is a lot more interesting. But like Secret Wars is cool because it was like one of the first examples, right? It's sort of set the tropes in play. I mean it's pretty seminal, isn't it?
Yeah, the reason I asked, because I was like in my cellar and I actually dug out Secret Wars that I collected in the late 80s in the UK Marvel. That's why I was wondering if you've done it or not. Yeah.
They're doing Secret Wars as a series for.
Is it a series? Because I thought it was a film.
Well, it's advertised on Marvel Disney Plus. It's either a film that's going to come straight to Disney Plus or it's a full series. I imagine it's going to be a series because
you want to do Secret Wars week after next.
Wow.
You give it 2 or 3 weeks because
because it's fucking massive. I was
80 issues on Secret Wars 2.
Yeah. I was going to suggest that obviously next week we're going to do Hellraiser, and I require that Buddha and Ben are here for the entirety of the show next week.
Yes, sir.
Because Rob, as always, obviously I want you here. But,
yeah, baby.
It depends on how you feel about the content of the show.
The thing is, I can't bloody afford it, but we're going on holiday. Hey, we're off to so next week.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine because my boy's here at Hellraiser Head. So, but afterwards, I was going to suggest Miracle Man. Have you read Miracle Man, Ben?
Oh, how cool is that? How cool is that? Miracle Man.
I like my Miracle
collection
Man.
of my collection. Oh, there you go. Secret Wars 2.
Wars.
No. Yeah.
That's amazing, dude.
The end of everything.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah. So this is
I have a few Secret Wars, but I don't have the whole thing like that. That's amazing.
Yeah. I started getting this because I thought to myself, and I remember I thought to myself at that time, it'd be kind of interesting to get into Secret Wars because it's supposed to have all the Marvel characters, isn't it?
But it's secret. Sorry.
But like don't tell everybody. Sorry. I didn't realize I was giving spoilers out.
That's all right.
Spoiler wars.
So Hellraiser next week.
Miracle
and
Man
then Miracle Man after that. And then maybe Secret Wars at some eventual time.
Yeah, let me know which one you're going to do because there's the Alan Moore run and there's the Grant Morrison run, and they're the 2 best ones, right?
Of Miracle Man, yeah.
Of Miracle Man, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, the Grant Morrison is the one.
I think.
Hang on a sec. Are we going for Marvel Man who becomes no? What's going on with?
So he was Marvel Man, and then there's a reason why he became Miracle Man. I forget.
Are we talking about what was in Warrior?
We'll research it for the show.
Yeah, I'll send you some. Basically, Alan Moore had hold of it and was doing it, and then he left it. And then as Grant Morrison was coming up, he sort of tried to take over and asked Alan Moore if he could take over. And Alan Moore was like, No.
So
I think that sort of started the antagonization between the two of them. But
yeah.
as far as I remember, he ended up doing it anyway.
Right. Prepare to be
So
maybe
cool. So Hellraiser, then Miracle Man.
Yeah.
slightly impressed
good.
because this
So if
miracle.
that's it.
Yeah. That's it. That's him. Yeah. Read that.
Yeah.
Read that and show it to us in 2 weeks.
All right, buddy. Yep.
All right. I think that's the show. Is that the show?
Yeah.
Cool.
Stop the show.
Yeah, we've done Batman.
As we've just seen, drugs make your problems go away. So make it the best day possible. Remember, it's drugs that counts. Take one and take a chance.
Saturday morning cartoons, mostly conjecture based on little knowledge.
And then we gotta click and broad.